You're butt naked in the room. Did that happen to you? Yeah, right?
Yeah, and
wait, I hope it happened to more than one person. Hiya beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Segen. In today's video, we have a special guest. We have the one, the only Eren from Black Foodie. So if you guys watched my vlog from last Sunday, I collaborated with Eren, and that was actually my first collaboration with Black Foodie. So it was only right that I brought her over to my channel. So thank you, Eren, for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited, and we've got some really good food in front of us, so it's a good way to intro.
It smells amazing. It's only right.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Black Foodie.
Sure. So,
sorry, I feel like we're so horrible. My bad.
No, this is fun. So Black Foodie is a platform. It's celebrating Black food culture. It's all about basically telling our stories through food, celebrating our chefs, our restaurants, our foods, our injera, all that good stuff. You can find it online. You can follow us on Instagram at blackfoodie.co or go to the website blackfoodie.co too.
Awesome. So I'll link all of that in the description box. I'll put her handle somewhere on the screen for you guys. But in today's video, we actually have an injera mukbang. I've posted, I have a post-it wall in my office. I've shared with you, I have a bunch of video ideas, and one of them was injera mukbang. It only makes sense to do it with Eren because I feel like you know every restaurant in the city.
Oh, thanks.
That's how I feel. I don't know.
I honestly don't. I don't know all the restaurants in this city, but I definitely think I know the food. So I know what to look for, and I know the good spots. So I can definitely put you guys on. Yeah.
So where did you actually get this? Where'd you get this? Because this is amazing.
Okay, so I
start to eat. By the way. Sorry.
I got this platter from Rendezvous Restaurant. It's at the Danforth.
I've been to Rendezvous.
It's a pretty well-known spot. It's been around for almost 20 years, so you can always depend on them for good food.
Holy smokes! I didn't know they were around for that long.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah.
I typically like to go to Wazema if I'm with family and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But Rendezvous is really good too. I've been there a couple times.
True. I actually usually go to Wazema too.
Yeah?
It's really good. I mean, I think there's a lot of really great places on the Danforth. I love going there. I feel it feels like you're taking a little step into back home. Yeah. You just get off Greenwood Station and boom, the onions hit you, the bada. Some people might be trying to talk to you. You just feel like you're back home.
No, definitely. Danforth is definitely that spot in Toronto if you are trying to I don't know, find other Habeshas, eat Habesha food. Mm-hmm. It's that spot in the city for sure.
Yeah.
So what made you start Black Foodie? What got you into doing this?
So a couple of reasons. So my family actually opened one of the first Habesha restaurants in my hometown of Windsor. And so as a little kid, I watched my grandma. She actually had a side hustle. She sold injera.
Oh my God.
In all the convenience stores, and she was my babysitter, so I would sit with my grandma. She would take all this injera, make it, put it into the bags, and I would just, I was young, but my uncles, who were also pretty young, would just ride their bicycles around the city and drop it off to convenience stores and stuff like that. Yeah, and then they opened a restaurant, so my whole childhood was surrounded by really good Habesha food and people, and that inspired me. But really, it was a pretty not good experience that inspired me to actually do it and take action. Mm-hmm. So I went out to eat for my birthday, and basically I just went to an Italian spot that was hella racist, and
no way.
Yeah, it was really whack. And so because of that, I was wait, why am I going and spending money in places that are not welcoming me? I'm not supporting Black-owned businesses. Yeah. I need to actually go support businesses like the one my family owned. Mm-hmm. And I can still go to the other places too, but it's important we have a space where our voices are celebrated and folks know, that we're the plug. That we can actually have a good time and celebrate and dress up and go to a Black-owned restaurant.
That's wow. I'm sorry you actually had to experience that. That's annoying.
No, it set me on this path. So I'm pretty happy that I'm here today,
Everything happens for a reason, I'm telling you. That's honestly, it's those experiences that really set you up for something that you wouldn't expect to be so awesome. Now, I don't have any merch. I don't have any merch yet, but I absolutely love the Black Foodie t-shirt. I don't know what it is. When you first came up, I think I first saw it, when did you start this? 5 years ago?
Yeah, about 5 years ago I started this, and I just started, I think I was going to a food festival, and I was I need something to set myself apart, and I went to a print shop and then got this t-shirt done, and then I went to DC, you know, Habesha Central, basically back home. And I remember walking down the street and like everybody was stopping me and going like, Black foodie, I love it, I need it. And I was like, okay, I could sell this.
Oh wait, whoa. So you started off with just having one t-shirt?
Yeah, I just made it for myself. It wasn't like I'm gonna have some merchandise and yeah.
Oh wow. Well, look at that.
Funny how things happen. Yeah.
So, have you ever been to Ethiopia?
Mm-hmm.
I asked that question as if I didn't know. I know she was in Ethiopia.
Yeah, so I've been to Ethiopia 3 times.
Wow.
So my last trip was actually like pretty epic. The first time I went to Ethiopia was on a study abroad program, so I didn't even go with my family.
You're kidding?
Yeah, and I got to like tour the country, but I was with I wasn't with people who were Ethiopian, so it wasn't really a great introduction. And then my third round, when I went back to Ethiopia, I actually did a tour with Ethiopian Airlines, and they took me to like different places in the south, in like the north, Bahir Dar, Lalibela, like all of the like amazing sites, but also like some village areas like in the south.
Oh yeah. I saw that on your Instagram actually.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was like my favorite part, and I really want to go to Asmara in the future because that's where my parents were born and raised.
You're kidding? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they used to have like a cafe and everything like that. So growing up, I learned Tigrinya.
Yeah.
I have a very little understanding of Amharic, so very limited. So when I was in Ethiopia, I enjoyed it, but I was like, man, I need to take a class.
Yeah.
Like,
the minute you step into Ethiopian Airlines, because I've been to Addis Ababa once for my uncle's wedding in like 2016. Mm-hmm. The minute you step on that plane, I don't know if they have like an air freshener of bebera, but like it was just like whoosh, like you can smell it. It just literally smells like you're going to your auntie's house or going to Eritrean restaurant, Ethiopian restaurant. It just, I'm like, how do you transfer? But I think it's the amount of cargo of bebera that people transfer when they visit back home and come back to the city, because that's the only way it makes sense. No other airline smells like a spice, except for, at least for me in my experience. So
no, it's true. So actually, okay, so I got to like travel like pretty well. The last trip that I went, they put us in business class, and I didn't know this, but if you fly business class, essentially first class on Ethiopian Airlines, they give you a buffet, like an Ethiopian buffet. Like
You're kidding. Oh, so it's a food.
It's a food. They actually have injera on the plane.
I did not know that.
So you can have all that stuff, and like I literally had that like while I was in the airplane. I was like, wow, when else am I gonna have this experience? It was pretty lit.
But it's funny, going back to like the language, like I would like, they would approach me, like there are other people that take the flight that aren't Ethiopian, like there were a few Nigerians that were like on the flight and stuff like that. But it was funny because when they would ask for like, okay, what would you like, what's your beverage or whatever, the flight attendant would just straight up ask me in Amharic, and I'm like, baby girl, I do not know what you're saying. But I remember I was starving, because if you're flying from Toronto, I think it's certain major cities like LA, DC, Toronto, I don't know any other ones, but it's a direct flight, so you're not leaving the plane, transferring or anything. So for 18 hours, it's like I would knock out, wake up, and I was hungry. And I didn't, the only word I know in Amharic as far as like food is dappa. Because I'm like, yo, I know this is going to help me with this plane ride, so
give me that bread.
Just give me that bread. Like, I just need bread. Like, if you can set me up with bread, I won't bother you ever. But Ethiopia is like an experience. Asmara is beautiful. I think you would actually enjoy it, especially different parts of like the country in general. I feel everybody talks about Asmara, which is great. But there are other things that you can do. There's Masawa. Well, my first experience was different because my first experience was like, you know, you're there, you're wide-eyed, you're just like, holy smokes, I want to see this, I want to see that, I want to see them, I want to see, like, you know?
You want to meet family.
I want to meet family, yeah. But my second experience was like, I know this place, I know where I'm going. Like, I just recognized, and it's funny because the joke at my house is like, Segen doesn't know direction. Like, I need GPS for everything, right? And so when I went just recently, I went with my fiance, and he was kind of blown away that I still remembered where everything was.
Wow.
He was just like, I don't get how you can be so far removed from a place, not have GPS, and know exactly where you are, how to get back home, and things like that. But in the city that you were born and raised in, you don't know it. Yeah. So
I think you have to be hyper aware, because if
fight or flight
for real.
Yeah.
In Ethiopia, I when I'd ask like where something is, they'd say like, you know, the Chaldees restaurant around the corner to this church and whatever. It wasn't like a legit like street instruction. Like you had to have that person come outside. It was a little bit of an adventure anytime I was going out. So I understand like you really need to be hyper aware of like your surroundings and everything.
I think with like the phrase that I kept seeing, or the phrase that I kept hearing in Asmr was just like ati angolo, like just around the corner, just around the corner. I'm just like, there's too many corners here. Like I need some proper direction.
That's when you got to know the landmarks, like the churches and the cafes and everything.
Yeah.
I think, you know, like one thing I really am glad I did when I went back home is get outside of the city. Like I love Addis, and I'm sure the same thing with Asmara. But like when you get outside of the city and you go to the countryside, or you go to like the Red Sea or whatever.
Masala, You're just
like, let me get my directions right. You know what I'm saying? But you experience something like incredible. Like I got to go into these like really historic churches, and like you know, you find out about the culture and the history and the religion, and that's the part that always like sticks with me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I actually enjoyed being at my parents' or visiting my parents' village. Like it's this I did a video like a few years ago when I first started up my channel, and it was like pretty much my experience visiting my dad's village for the first time. And it's still a video that kind of circulates, and like I still get comments on it, and it's a funny video. I spoke in Tigrinya and just saying like it was like a story time video. And like to this day, like my parents get approached by their friends about the story, because I find that the experience that you have on the countryside, I feel like that lasts forever. Like generations to come are gonna hear about like that journey, that adventure. It was quite an experience. Anyway, if you guys haven't checked out that video, go check it out.
I haven't seen it. I really want to watch it.
Go check it out.
Yeah, I think it's really as somebody who like was born in Canada, and I think you were born here too, right?
Yeah, I was born
like
here.
It really opens up your mind, like when you go and you see like, oh, this is where my parents grew up, this is what they did, like this is how they went to school, all these little kids look like me, you know.
I know. That's the first thing that one of my first experiences being back home is hearing little kids speak Tigrinya. I don't know what it was, but I started like getting teary-eyed, and I was with my cousin Irmias. Shout out to Irmias, I absolutely love him, but he was just like, why is that like a big deal? But they don't know that like just from the outside coming in, it's like being in a room full of like, you know, kids, it's like, oh wow, they speak Amharic, they speak Tigrinya, but there it's just obviously, it's just like the little things that really, you know.
Yeah, no, I totally feel you. I had my first trip to Ethiopia, because it was a study abroad, I was with like a bunch of nursing students, and
God.
Yeah, so the angle in which I saw Ethiopia is like, I did visit like quite a few orphanages and hospitals and things like that.
God, wow.
And so I remember like the first school that I visited where there were like children without parents, and this is definitely not like the full, like, you know what I mean, like this is because I was going on this particular trip. There were so many kids that like they literally looked like me, you know what I'm saying? They looked like me as a kid. So you know, I'm talking to them, and they were like, you know, they were trying to speak to me in Amharic because they were hoping I'd translate, but I didn't know what they were saying. But I could get the gist, you know what I mean? And I remember like just standing, like all the other white students went back into the van, and I just broke down and I cried.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I couldn't, because I felt this overwhelming like connection to them, and I was like, oh, I gotta do something. You know what I mean? Like I gotta help. And I think that's something, I don't know, that people don't talk about as much, but like when you are from the diaspora and you go visit, you will automatically feel way more connected. Like you will feel a sense of responsibility, and that is something to like for me, when I got out of Addis, somebody came and she looked like my grandmother, and she was speaking Tigrinya, which I wasn't expecting. She was, you know, asking for money, and I was like, just gave out like a couple hundred birr, right? And that's like a lot. My dad was like, what are you doing? And I was like, in Tigrinya, she blessed me. She was like basically saying like, God help you and everything like that. And I was like, what am I about to, like, of course I'm going to give it. Like, she's like my grandma, you know, like, and that's something that I think like, that just, it's a part of the experience. You are going to feel connected, and you know, obviously be ready to give. Like if you're in a position, make sure you help in some way.
And it's actually interesting. I had this conversation with my cousin Timby. You know Timby. Yeah. So I actually had a conversation with her about like wanting to help people help people in general, but something touches you when when they resemble somebody that means a lot to you. So we actually just had that conversation like a couple weeks ago, and I mean, yeah, you get emotional, you feel like some sort of attachment, you feel like, okay, I need to help, like, you know what I mean? But no, going back home is an experience, but
it is.
Jeez.
And that's like, I think that's like one segment of it, and I think that's what like the media focuses on, but
yeah,
there's also like this incredible, like beautiful landscape, and like they've got like the nightlife scene and the restaurants, and like essentially you can get a little bit of everything back home, you know. Well,
speaking of back home, speaking of the injera that we're eating, what is your favorite? What is like your ultimate, like, I have to have this food? And I don't know why I'm clapping when I'm saying it, but like your ultimate favorite Eritrean Ethiopian dish, you have to have it.
So it's not pictured on this plate, on this platter, but it's kitcha fit.
Really?
Yeah. I know it's like.
I was not excited. I thought you were gonna say something on here. Actually.
I love kitcha fit. I love it so much. It reminds me of my, like, just being a kid.
Yeah.
Because my mom would make it a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's something that I always crave, like when I go home. And it's something you can't really find that often at restaurants, and you know what I mean?
Actually, Well, okay, wait. Are you team gat or team kitcha fit?
Team kitcha fit.
Me too. I can never find somebody that's like me. Wow, you're actually leaving me hanging. I was trying to grab you.
My bad.
Wow.
Whoops. I forgot. That's the new way of like hand clapping in COVID.
But yeah, I would actually give you a kulaso, but COVID situations.
I feel you. But yeah, no, kitcha fit, of course. Like, it's so good.
But everybody's team gats all the time.
Not me. I like it, but I don't eat it that often. Like, so I think it's probably been like a decade since I've had gat.
Wait. Slow your roll. What?
Wait, no, maybe like 5 years. I think my aunt.
5 years?
Yeah. It's only when I go visit my aunts or something that I have it. My mom doesn't make it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And my grandma stopped making it a while ago, so I don't know. It's like I just go like, oh, volcano, like, you know.
Volcano, yeah. That's what my sister used to call it that when she was a kid. But yeah. Oh my god.
What's your food like? What's something?
Okay, so here's the thing. Like, this dish gets knocked like a lot, especially on like Habesha Twitter.
Yeah.
But I love dulot.
Really?
Yeah, it's good. I promise. Like, honestly, like every time I see people slander dulot, I'm like, it's really good.
Oh, okay. I know. I just don't like it. I'm just gonna keep it real. I don't like it. There's some dishes. I know I talk a lot about Ethiopian food to the culture, but I love most of it. There are a couple of dishes that is like, it's a no for me. That's one of them.
What else is one of them?
The beets. I don't like beets.
Oh, the beets.
I don't like beets so much. And my grandma, my mom.
I actually like beets too.
You do? You do?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can.
I mean, I used to call them purple potatoes when I was a kid. I thought they were cool. And my favorite color is purple.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. And I know that people who like beets will enjoy it, but I can't. Like, I gag.
No, I think it's because, number one, I think dulot gets slandered a lot.
Yeah.
Because of... Okay, for those of you that are watching this that don't know what dulot is pretty much, intestines. They clean it, obviously, but like it's so good. Like, there's a lot of flavor. There's garlic. There's parsley. There's like not jalapenos, but there's hot peppers in there.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
The process of making it stinks.
It does.
It smells horrid. Like, it's bad. But when it's on that plate, it's so good. It's so, I don't know, I like it.
I wish I could. Maybe I need to be reintroduced to it. Like, as a kid, so I grew up with like my entire family on my dad's side moved to Canada, so I had my grandparents, my uncles and aunts. So anytime there was a holiday,
what a blessing. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was. I got really lucky. So we would go to like a farm outside of the city and pick a lamb. Did you guys do that? So we would choose a lamb anytime it was a holiday, and it was like the best activity as a kid. And I get to choose them and be like,
I would not get out of the car. My dad would drive us to the farm.
You guys did it too? Okay.
All the time.
Oh, wow.
I would not get out of the car. He would pick one, slaughter it, and I'm like,
sorry, vegans. I really enjoyed that as a kid. Like, it was like me and my sister would poke its eyeballs afterwards.
Okay, that I did. Okay, that I did. That I used to freak my sister out because like every part of the animal was there.
Yeah, it's
like the head,
skin.
the teeth, everything, right?
Yeah.
Bruh, I actually used to do that. I used to make it blink or like make the eyeballs move and like freak my sister out.
Yeah.
But that's wild. Yeah, my dad would go to like outside of the city to pick out like dinner essentially, and then they would be up all night cutting up the meat, prepping it for Aud Ahmed, like any big holiday, right?
Yeah, any celebration. Yeah, that's I really I didn't know that other people did that here. That's cool.
I honestly only thought it was my dad.
I did too. I thought that was I thought it was because I was in Windsor. But I guess there's farms around here too. So
my dad like grew up on the farm. Like he's a farmer, born and raised. So things like that don't faze him.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess, but oof.
I think there's like this big talk about like farm to table, and I'm like, we're African, we know about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how we grew up.
Period. And actually, when I was in Addis Ababa, my cousin Sammy, he's in Toronto now, but we first met in Ethiopia. And it was, again, for my uncle's wedding. And so they had, like, a melsi, like, at the house.
Basically, day 2.
Yeah, day 2 of the wedding, right? And the poor animal, the poor goat, like, had to get slaughtered. And he did it. And I'm like, how do you have the stomach for it? Also, who taught you? He's like, well, my older brother taught me, and then my older brother's older brother taught him, and he just went down like the line.
Wow.
But he did this thing with the stomach. Okay, this might be a little bit too graphic.
Whoa, I didn't see all that.
He he blows it up like a balloon, and then he cleaned it out like that.
Oh man.
It must have been the stomach.
That sounds intense. I've never seen that process.
Bruh, I saw it from start to finish.
Ooh. Yeah, and did you still eat it?
I still ate it, yeah.
Oh, snap.
It was delicious. It was delicious. It was so good.
I feel like now I'm a little bit more like, oh, no. Like, I had a cow at my uncle's house back home because there was a wedding, too. Oh, and I just, like, woke up and there was, like, a cow. And I was like, what the hell?
Never seen a cow.
Yeah, it was huge. And I had, like, this thing. Anyways, you guys can find it on my Instagram. But I think that's just like some of the experiences that happen when you grow up in a Habesha family. Like you're gonna have some cool,
it's inevitable. Yeah. You're gonna have like an animal story for sure.
For sure.
But especially when you're there,
yeah,
you have the full throttle through and through experience. So it's inevitable. Yeah. Sorry for my vegans out there.
No worries. The thing I would say, there's so many amazing vegan options back home. We don't want to make it just like this.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of vegan spots. The really cool thing is you'll always be able to get like a vegan macchiato, vegan latte, or whatever because they have all its own
options.
Menus.
Yeah, that's true.
So there was even like its own like a vegan tiramisu across the street from where I was staying. Like things like that where I'm like,
okay, I've never seen that. I've never seen that, but
in Addis you'll find it. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot going on in Addis Ababa. I feel like I can only imagine where it's at right now as far as like the infrastructure and stuff like that, but I was kind of blown away. The nightlife also, I'm just like, whoa, I felt like I was in like Toronto.
Yeah. I went to one spot where legit, like I saw people that I had known from like California and like DC and stuff, and I was like, wait a minute.
No, it's definitely live.
Yeah.
Because when I see like the music videos and stuff like that, which I'm sure you watch as well,
all the time.
Like I'm just like, is it actually like that? But then when you go, it's like, whoa, opulence. Like I see it. I see it.
Oh my gosh, I went to a spa. Shout out to Boston Day Spa. Actually, did you go there?
Hold on, no. Are you talking about Moroccan spa?
Yes. I didn't do the scrub, but I did like the sauna and stuff, and legit, like I was like panicking. I was like, it's so hot, I don't know what to do, and my aunt was like laughing at me, and then these like kind of like bougie Habesha girls were like, you don't know, like, and I was like, I never went to a spa before, like, yo, that costs money, like, you know. Okay. So they were used to the good life, and I was out there just like acting like ratchet like I usually do. But.
When I tell you, number one, the Moroccan spa wasn't my first spa, but it was definitely my first spa outside of like Toronto. So when I was there, my mom like talked about like, you need to go. My cousins that were there, my cousin Elsa was just like, Segen, like you need to go for a Moroccan massage. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let me check it out. You're butt naked in the room. Did that happen to you? Right?
Yeah, and
wait, I hope it happened to more than one person.
No, it did. I forgot about that part when you're just like, whoa.
How could you forget? She was just like, and she was, again, speaking to me in Amharic. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. And then I had my clothes on, obviously. And she's just like, so she speaks to me in Amharic, comes in the room, tells me, I guess, in Amharic to take off my clothes, and then I don't. She comes back in the room, she's like, what are your clothes still on? And I'm just like, girl, I don't. So I ended up, obviously, having one of the most amazing, bizarre, most awkward experiences in my life, but it was, holy, like, how do you say turn around? Because she was, again, speaking to me in Amharic when she was massaging me, and she kept on saying, Zuri?
I actually don't know Amharic, so I don't know.
True facts.
But I get what you're saying. She probably signaled to you. But that is actually a funny experience. I didn't even remember, like, the spa experience as a diaspora person coming back is very interesting, especially for me. I was not used to the good life, so.
Yeah. The experience overall, whether you're back home in the countryside or in the city, it's definitely something that's just like, you have stories for years. And then when you come back to where you're from, it's like, you'll share these stories and it's like, oh my God, that happened to me too, or I was at that same place and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice to share stories. And I can't thank you enough, Eden, for coming.
Thank you.
And spending time with me on my channel. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for introducing me to these YouTube streets. I appreciate it. I love watching you on YouTube, but I'm trying to get my YouTube game up, so hopefully you guys will see me next time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll do more collaborations for sure.
But yeah, until then, I hope you guys go ahead and get yourself some Habesha food, support an East African restaurant, you know, and keep eating good injera.
Alright guys, so that wraps up today's video. We're gonna eat the rest of this injera, and we'll see you guys on my next upload.